Hi everyone, I'm Belinda Ryan. I'm studying this unit as part of a Bachelor of Education. I hope you enjoy my presentation. Cane toads are labelled a pest and a threat to Australian native species by the media, government and conservation groups due to their impact on the sustainability of native animals through predation and lethal toxic ingestion. The Department of Environment explains that their rapid expansion across 2 million square kilometres of Australia is threatening several native species and the ecosystems in which they live. When I visited the Sunshine Coast in 2010, I was greeted with signage, media articles and general hostility by locals towards cane toads. I wondered if they could really be that bad. 6 years later, I am using this opportunity to find out more. After completing a KWL chart, I established some initial inquiry questions. Using some key search words and phrases, I looked on Google Scholar for credible resources about cane toads and their impacts. After finding several articles that I could not fully access, a search of the titles in the Curtin Library gave me free and unlimited use. I quickly identified Richard Shine as an expert in the area of cane toads and also recognised titles of environmental science journals. I began interpreting information in order to complete my project plan. After receiving feedback from my project plan, I revised my inquiry questions to relate them more closely to environmental sustainability. I am currently back in the locating resources stage and beginning to process, analyse and synthesise the information. Through my research so far, I've established that cane toads are considered a pest due to their impact on the sustainability of native Australian species, in particular the northern quoll, goannas and other large reptiles, freshwater crocodiles and turtles. The Department of Environment have recorded significant declines in populations of these particular species after cane toads have entered their habitats. Shine, 2010, explains that these animals are predators of the cane toad, mistaking them for native frogs. However, when these animals try to consume the cane toad, they are killed by the cane toad's deadly toxins. Cane toads are toxic at different levels throughout their entire lifespan, so even a sea snail consuming cane toad eggs can be adversely affected. Urban et al. 2007 explained that cane toads also threaten species through predation and competition for shelter and food. The Department of Environment 2009 is concerned that as long as cane toads continue to multiply and spread across Australia, more native animal sustainability will be threatened, potentially to the point of endangerment or extinction. According to Urban et al., the decrease in populations of certain species can have domino effects on ecosystems. For instance, if a common predator dies out, this allows other species to increase in numbers, which could then impact on other species of plants that are food supply. Therefore, cane toads' impacts on environmental sustainability are both direct and indirect. My inquiry questions have been adjusted to focus directly on the threat of cane toads to the sustainability of these native species. My continued search for resources and information will be central to the impacts on environmental sustainability of native species and how this sustainability can be improved. In a primary school setting, the topic of cane toads and their threat to environmental sustainability could be taught in Year 4 Science, addressing the Australian Curriculum's Science Understanding strand and biological science topic of living things depend on each other and the environment to survive. Students can explore the ways that cane toads impact on other native species in its habitat, and whether these impacts are negative or if there are potentially mutually beneficial relationships occurring. There is also the opportunity to explore the predator-prey relationships that are so significant in the threat of cane toads to native species sustainability. Using content descriptors from the Science Inquiry Skills and Science as a Human Endeavour strands, teachers can instruct students to collect information, present data, and identify patterns and trends about cane toad movements and impacts on the environment and native species, and to make predictions about the effects of an extinction of a species based on that data.